Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rose Wrights and I write and narrate Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction. Thank you to cat-saturn for their amazing artwork. I will link their info below. So I haven't seen any stories about Bridgette, which if you don't know, he was who Marinette was intended to be when the show was supposed to be in a more anime style. So, I'll stop my yapping and please enjoy Welcome Home, Bridgette. The storm raged on relentlessly as she cried and cried. Nothing made sense. The wicker basket rubbed uncomfortably across her smooth skin, causing it to redden. Everything felt dark and scary. She couldn't recognize anything through her blurred vision obstructed by a cotton blanket, and then she heard faintly the sweetest voice. "Shh, there. You're all right." The young woman picked up the baby and cradled the child in her protective arms. She looked around for the baby's parents, but she had been left all alone with nothing but a small card in the basket that said, "I'm sorry, Bridgette." Emilie Agreste ran an orphanage, providing care and shelter to those who had no family. She loved each child as they were her own. This small baby being left broke her heart. It made her think of her own baby at home. She made it her mission to find each child a home. "Bridgette, are you ready to go?" Emilie called from outside the orphanage. The young girl took one step onto the porch, shielding her eyes from the sun, letting them adjust. She donned a familiar red hoodie that matched the red ribbons in her pigtailed hair, outfit complete with denim shorts. One by one, all of the children had found homes, and she was the only one left. It was disheartening to be sure, but Emilie wanted to adopt her. She had a son Bridgette's age, so it'd be a great fit. There was just one obstacle. Emilie Agreste. Bridgette was hopeful. Her positivity was one of the only things she had left. They made it to the Agreste mansion, and Bridgette stood in the foyer, awestruck. "I've only ever read about castles this big," Bridgette thought as she turned in a slow circle, taking it all in. Emilie took both of the girl's small shoulders and stooped to her level to be eye to eye. "Bridgette, sweetie, I'm going to speak with my husband. Stay here, okay?" A flicker of concern passed Emilie's eyes, but Bridgette smiled and nodded. While waiting, she walked around looking at the expensive sculptures and paintings that lined the walls. Those paintings depicted a happy family despite Mr. Agreste's intimidating stature. There was a blonde-haired boy in most of the pictures. Bridgette made her way to one particular photo of just the blonde boy and touched his photographed face. "He has kind eyes and a sweet smile," she thought until she heard a loud voice reverberating through the hall. Bridgette quietly approached the room where Gabriel and Emilie spoke a bit too loudly. She kept her distance, but eavesdropped knowing the two were discussing her future.
"You cannot be serious, Emilie. We are Agreste and that child is not. No, she can't stay. I'm sorry."
Gabriel's voice sounded blunt, matter-of-fact. "But Gabe, she's all alone. I've taken care of Bridgette for 15 years. She feels like my own. Please, she has nowhere to go. I want to give her a family. We have plenty of money, plenty of space. Please just consider." Emilie pleaded, but it seemed to do no good.
"You have a child, Emilie. One is enough. My answer is no, and that's final."
Bridgette heard footsteps approaching the threshold of the door, so without thinking, the young girl dashed in an empty hallway. She heard Emilie's voice frantically calling for her, but she decided not to turn back. She wanted to think. There were either stairs or an elevator. She had little time to decide. Surely someone would find her if she took the stairs, so she ran into the empty elevator, anxiously waiting for the doors to close. As they did, she pressed her back against the cold metal. She had been sweating profusely, so it was a welcomed feeling. She took a few more deep breaths, allowing her heart rate to settle. She stared at the strange buttons. Bridgette had never been in an elevator before, but it looked simple enough. Where would Emilie not look for her? All she knew was that she had to get away, and fast. She spied a button with 3 raised bumps on it and a small label underneath that said Gym. She tapped it and it came to life. A few brief moments later, the heavy door opened loudly, taking Bridgette by surprise. She made herself small in the corner of the elevator until she noticed that the coast was clear. Bridgette leaned her head outside the metal monster, seeing a basketball court, but it looked vacant. She tiptoed through the empty hallway, looking around when she heard an unfamiliar voice behind her.
Hey, who are you? I haven't seen you around before.
The nervous girl jumped as the stranger touched her shoulder. She whipped around, not meeting the boy's eyes. Who, me? I'm no one at all. Actually, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be here. She went to take off once again, but the boy took her wrist. Bridgette finally met his eyes. He was a tall, lanky, dark-skinned boy. He wore black-rimmed glasses and some sports jersey for a team she didn't recognize. In his other hand, he had a basketball tucked securely under it. He wasn't threatening. He seemed safe enough. Bridgette relaxed her posture as he relaxed his grip on her arm.
Chill, girl. Are you okay?
He looked down at her, concerned. Thanks. I'm fine, though. She paused, then said with slight hesitation, Actually, I'm looking for someone. Maybe you could help me? Bridgette would understand if he didn't have the time. Why would he help a complete stranger? A complete stranger who clearly didn't belong here. But to her surprise, he said,
Sure, man. No problem. What's up?
She blinked, unable to hide her surprise. Well, she thought of how to phrase her request. I'm looking for someone. Last name... Agreste? The stranger chuckled a bit, then cleared his throat.
Good thing this is the Agreste house, huh? You're gonna have to be a bit more specific.
Her face flushed red. Of course, that makes sense. Okay. How about the young Agreste? I don't know his first name, though. The boy stared off fondly.
You're talking about my best bro, Adrian. Yeah, all the girls around here adore him.
Hey, it's not like that, okay? I don't even know him. I just need to talk to him. That's it. Her face was still tinged pink as she rejected the boy's accusations. He held up his hands, trying to calm her.
Hey, only joking. I still never got your name.
My name is Bridgette, she said with a small, sad voice. The boy picked up on it, but he wasn't the best at consoling people. He gave her a slight pat on the shoulder.
Dope. I'm Nino. Anyway, I've been friends with Adrian for years. I come over every Friday to shoot some hoops or play video games. I'm just waiting for him. He had something to do real quick, but he should be in his room. Take the elevator to the second floor, then take a right and keep going. You can't miss it.
He winked before getting up to go practice his free throws. She rushed back to the elevator after realizing it probably wasn't wise to be sitting around in plain view. What was she really running from, though? The family she never had but desperately wanted? Her own disappointment? Yes, probably the latter. She didn't want to hear the only person she ever cared about tell her that they didn't want her. Her heart had been broken enough. Why was she going through all of this effort to see this one boy? The boy with green eyes and a kind smile? She felt drawn to him. If she couldn't have a family, maybe she could at least have a friend. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, please give it a big like and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, stay miraculous.